everyone, and welcome to the best of Wedding Breakfast. Over the last year, we've travelled the UK to bring you the very best of everything to help you plan your big day. From wedding venues that make your heart flutter to rings with enough bling they'd blind a magpie. And over the next 30 minutes, we'll be checking out some sensational floral decorations and wickedly naughty wedding cakes. First up on the show, Chocky Wocky Doodah. Great name. I went to meet them in sunny Brighton, simply chocolate heaven, and they have amazingly decadent cakes.
Hello, Chocky Wocky Doodah. Yes, we do wedding cakes.
Well, viewers, here I am in chocolate heaven, in Chocky Wocky Doodah in Brighton, actually. Great name. And I'm joined here with Sarah. We have to start, first of all, where did the name come from?
Oh, it's quite a crazy name. It's all about the chocolate, hence the crazy name Chocky Wocky Doodah. And we do everything in chocolate, sculpting in chocolate, of course.
I have to say, as soon as you walk into this shop, it's like being in a Gothic wonderland. So tell me where the inspiration came from for the actual cakes.
It was all started with my director's vision. They got bored of marzipan and icing and wanted to do something really expressive in chocolate. I think it's all about the sculpture, and they would have done it in any medium. They had great fun with the sculpting, but they chose chocolate.
Sarah, tell me about the gorgeous fillings in these creations.
Okay. They use a lovely, very fine Belgian chocolate. It's got a very nice high cocoa content. Lemon cake, it's very moist with chocolate truffle running through it. You've got 5 different choices of interior. They've recently sort of been experimenting, actually. So we've got the chocolate truffle cake, French brandy-soaked fruit cake with dark chocolate chunks, fresh fine fruits and nuts, chili cake, which is a little bit exciting. That's a bit of a new addition.
I must say, I was very excited about coming here today. I feel like I've come back to the motherland, surrounded by all this chocolate. And you almost want to delve in, don't you,
yes,
to these amazing sculptures?
Yeah, there's so much life in them. And we can sort of do anything, really, with the chocolate. We like to really personalise cakes in chocolate and make it a very sort of personal cake.
So tell me about the cakes behind us.
Yeah, wow. Well, of course, we're all working in chocolate, so completely chocolate exterior. You don't just have to have chocolate truffle as a possible interior. You've got the choice of the 5 interiors, so you could maybe have French brandy-soaked fruit cake as well as chocolate truffle cake.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing to me.
Or summer wedding, you could go for lemon cake, which is quite refreshing, lovely with the white chocolate on the outside. Yeah, this one's designed to feed about 200 guests with nice big dessert portions. You've got...
Big portions, that's what we like.
Absolutely. Very important.
Actually, it's interesting what you were saying about the flavours. What's the most popular flavour?
Well, I'd say it's a close tie between the chocolate truffle cake and the lemon cake at the moment.
Lemon?
Lemon. It's a bit of a twist. I think because it's summer, it's a very refreshing option. It's a very moist cake with chocolate truffle running through it, and it tastes fantastic with white chocolate exterior with lemon oil infused into it. It's quite delicious.
So tell me about this one here.
Well, this one might be recognisable to some people because it features in a lot of our promotions. It's called the Towering Rococo Tier. It's quite a popular choice. We've got the white with white roses. Again, you could have the choice of 3 different interiors. So you could have a smaller tier on top, maybe French brandy-soaked fruit cake. You could have a chocolate truffle, lemon, any combination you like on the inside. Typically, it feeds about 180 guests with, again, big, nice dessert-sized portions.
That's the bit we like.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one here, it's almost Baroque in style, isn't it?
Yeah.
The beautiful little cherubs.
Yeah, we love cherubs here at Chocky. Cherubs and flowers. Yeah.
Perfect combination for a wedding, isn't it? Cherubs and flowers, all very romantic and almost kind of aspirational.
Yes.
And that's the kind of feel that you get from the cakes, maybe.
Absolutely.
How much input does the couple have into creating their own cake?
We can really personalise it. Once we've established the shape and the size and how many guests you'd like to feed, we can sort of really roll with making it very much theirs.
Sarah, thank you so much for inviting me to Chocky Wocky Heaven today. Very, very exciting. Viewers, I can personally recommend them, and hopefully now I can go for a quick taste.
Right.
Some rather tempting treats for you there. Well, I had a look on their website a little earlier today, and they described their cakes as sculptured fantasies. I wouldn't disagree without trying to sound too saucy. Really naughty stuff. Well, from the delicious and wicked world of Chocky Wocky Doodah to some creative floristry now, we go and visit Diana Kay at her award-winning shop in the north of England.
Florist from the complete love of flowers, having a summer job and getting into just really seeing what florists were allowed to, what they could create. Even though I was sort of Saturday girl and had to do all the dirty jobs at that time, but really just couldn't get enough of flowers. So I think to be a florist, you have to have a real love of flowers to do it. I've had my shop for 26 years, which was, I started quite young, and as everything, the years have gone by really quickly, and still loving it. UK Flower Shop of the Year has brought a complete team together, where before it was we were florists, we're now actually a combined team. After 25 years, we stepped back, had a look at the business, and just thought we've got to change. The high streets changed, and we've got to change too. So we had a complete shop refurbishment, staff training, including myself. So we've all embraced the change, and although we didn't expect to win, we're absolutely thrilled. My style is modern contemporary, but also it's really what the customer wants. We sit down with our brides and let them talk to us, listen to what they're wanting, and then let us do our job and suggest, get to know them, get to know the bridesmaids, the whole family, and give them ideas, let them decide what they like, what they don't like. At the end of the day, our style, I let every florist here have their own style and technique. That way we get a really good combination and we can cater for everybody's tastes. We work with many of the local venues in the North Yorkshire area, but I have to say Middleton Lodge is one of my favourite because it's got such a fantastic sweeping stairway. So to be able to swag that from top to bottom, it's such a fantastic entrance to do, you will get a huge amount of enjoyment from that. There's a lot more creativity now that we, as florists, we can do. So which has changed a lot in the last five to 6 years. I always think if you're going to spend money on flowers, then make some impact. Have them as a talking point right the way through the day and the night. So adding a little bit of light to them doesn't add a lot of value. It doesn't add a great amount of money to it. You can have a lot of wow at a very affordable prices. A lot of our brides can be on budgets, so we prefer to be given the budget, and then we can advise the best way of spending the money. If they're wanting flowers in the church or to decorate the church, there's some really, really inexpensive ways of making a really dramatic statement. A lot of the fashions and trends now, I think we know what they look like as florists, but it's very daunting for brides when they come to us because they don't know what the flowers are. What we're talking about when we're, getting excited about, what we would suggest. So it is nice that we can show them a portfolio of maybe the new trends that have just, come from recent competitions and styles, rather than feeling very comfortable with what they've seen in a magazine. Even if that means us making, a bit of a prototype up for them to see and get their imagination going as much as ours.
Great stuff. Thanks, Diana. Some timeless floral designs for you there. OK, time for a quick break now. We'll be back in 3 after the ads with an explosion of flowers and some yummy cakes. Welcome back to part 2 of the very best of wedding breakfast. Now, not only should a cake look good, but it should taste good too. We went along to meet Jane and Fred Robineau to see how you create the perfect wedding cake fit for a Dragon's Den judge, no less.
Patisserie is renowned for bespoke wedding cakes. We offer sort of the ultimate design service for clients. They come along for consultation, cake tasting. We look at their colour themes of the wedding. We match all of their flowers from the bride's bouquet and corsages and buttonholes into the cake designs. We also deliver and set up the wedding cakes for them at the venue on the day of the wedding.
We basically started 5 or 6 years ago when we came up from London and decided to open our own business. Started with wedding cakes mainly, and we've opened the shop doing everything to do with cakes basically. So it's all pastries, it's chocolates, and all the wedding cakes, birthday cakes. We use the best ingredients that we can find basically. The wedding cake, we've took the wedding cake as part of the pastry, so we tried to turn the wedding cake into something that's really yummy to eat as well, and not just something that's got to look beautiful. So we've gone maybe a bit more French on the inside of the cake, layers of chocolate sponge with ganaches and different flavours, some crispy pralines and so on.
I think our signature wedding cakes would definitely be our chocolate wedding cakes, without doubt. Absolutely everything then on the wedding cake is completely edible, so they look fantastic as well as tasting great as well.
We were both working at the Connaughts in Mayfair, both as pastry chef, and that's obviously where we met. And we then moved up to the north of England to set up our own business.
The particular wedding cake that we really both enjoyed working on was we did a wedding cake design for Duncan and Joanne Valentine. It's a beautiful 6-tier wedding cake with handmade Phalaenopsis orchids and roses on it, and it towers. It's very, very tall actually. It's towered up with pillars and glassware.
What we do for the sugar flowers is we go as far as getting the name of the flowers that are used for the wedding from the florist, and then we use the same books as the florist to match up all the flowers, basically all the colors and shapes and so on. But we also go as far as buying a real flower and dismantling the flower to see how it's arranged in nature to reproduce it in sugar after.
We also make an individual wedding cake for our clients as well, which is an individual chocolate gâteau. They're decorated with handmade chocolate roses or handmade chocolate curls, and they're assembled in a magnificent tower. Beautiful presentation. A lot of our guests use them for the dessert actually, as well as serving them with coffee.
So this particular cake is for a wedding we've got on Saturday. So this one you could serve up to 200 guests with that cake, and that's if you serve the cake with your coffee. And then that particular one there, you've got on the inside you've got dark chocolate sponge, layers of dark chocolate sponge with white chocolate ganache, and a layer of crispy praline as well on each of the tiers. So there Louise is finishing the favors for this weekend's wedding. We've got heart-shaped shortbreads for the ladies, and then we've got some round ones as well for the men's. So the last thing that's to do on those favors is to pipe the name of each guest. So we got a list of all the guests for the wedding, which gets piped on the top or painted on. We do all sorts of different colors and so on to go with the color scheme of the wedding.
The most fashionable way of setting up your wedding cake at the moment is to have all the tiers stacked on top of each other, so there is a little bit of a modern twist to this. This particular one, because crystals and diamantes are also in fashion, we've incorporated those into the finish on the top tier, and also these are handmade iced flowers as well. These are colour matched to the bride's requirements, to match the bouquet perhaps. Although they're edible, a lot of our clients like to keep them as a keepsake or give them away as gifts, so they will keep for a very, very long time, and that is a unique selling point for ourselves. We never use fresh flowers, although guests at weddings actually think they're fresh because they look so real.
Some incredible edible masterpieces for you there, perfect for a touch of indulgence on your big day. Well, now the cake's sorted, let's see how the expert at Hayford & Rhodes creates a floral masterpiece to match any 5-tier wedding cake extravaganza.
Hayford & Rhodes has been established since 1924. It's renowned in the city for the quality and standard of its flowers. Myself and my 2 sisters took over William Hayford a year ago, and the company is now Hayford & Rhodes. We are very much a family-run company, and we have a fantastic team. Our floristry style is obviously classic with a contemporary edge. We're renowned for our quality and standards, but we really try to promote English flowers. We love using sort of large David Austin roses with peonies, but we think centre is obviously very important. We love large sort of voluptuous flowers, sort of creamies and pinks. I always refer flowers as sort of like custard creams and things, sort of really luscious, and that's what we're really about. Currently we have 3 shops which are London-based, all within the city. Our main headquarters is here at Bank, and our other smaller shop is at Newgate, which is opposite the Old Bailey and part of Merrill Lynch. Our studio depot is on Morocco Street, which is just over Bermondsey High Street. Our wedding services are very personal. We actually do obviously free consultations before they decide to go with us, which we think is really important. On the first meeting, I show them around the shop, obviously show the flowers that are in season, which I think is really important. And then if they go on for a second consultation, we actually do mood boards for them, and we actually can do sample bouquets and table centres, and that's really important because we want to get it right for them. Okay, I'm creating a table centre for a wedding. As you can see here, I've done the base with some about 3-4 different types of foliages, which is really important because it just breaks up the arrangement. It's not just about how the arrangement looks, it's really important that it evokes smells and memories and things. That's why I've used rosemary here, and jasmine can also be very good, and it just takes you back to that special time, and that's really important. I'm just filling in a bit of hydrangea, which is nice. It's a sort of lovely round flower, but it's also quite bold. As you can see here, I'm using some white avalanche roses. White can really lift an arrangement, so that's why I'm using the white here. Again, you can select some lovely English garden roses like David Austin, which we do for lots of weddings. We like to use UK suppliers for the majority of our flowers, but if we do need to source further afield, we may always guarantee that it's fair trade, and that's very, very much important to us. If you're not based in London and you would like us to do your wedding flowers, the best thing you can do is actually give myself a call or one of my 2 sisters, and we can advise if we can do it for you. Hayford & Rhodes have a team of 25, and we have our own fleets of vans, so we can actually do large, expansive events. There is no limits. We have gone across the UK doing weddings, but obviously it's something we'd need to discuss.
Hayford & Rhodes have the most stunning floral designs, pure vintage glamour. Jo is one of the sisters behind the company and responsible for their sophisticated look. Still staying with the floral theme, now we head to RL Flower Designs to meet Rosemary Livingston, the lady behind all kinds of regal flower displays.
I love flowers, just flowers in a vase, and I love the clarity of water, the clearness. So you see these tiny little vases with their stems and the clearness of the water. It's just beautiful. Flower of the sea. RL Flower Designs is a flower shop. We specialize in a look that is very natural and free. It's not structured, it's not pretty, but it's creatively free and loose in style. I'm not exactly a structured person, and I'm not a person that is neat in everything, although I like things to look beautiful and I like them to look creative, and I guess that's where my style comes from. RL Flower Designs are very passionate about their vases. We have a fantastic range of different styles and shapes and colors. Containers are important. You can have a cheap bunch of daffodils in the most beautiful container and it just looks amazing. Normally the bride comes and sees us. A lot of people don't know what they want, so they go into a lot of magazines, they cut a lot of bits out, and they bring all these little bits, which is fantastic because once the person brings that, you get the idea of what the person wants. When you meet the bride and she's brought all her little bits and everything, you know, she has to get confidence with you, knowing that you're going to produce what she wants. And normally when I see a bride, I know straight away what that bride would like. You know, I think we've been doing it for some time, and you can get the proportions right of the bouquet, which is particularly suited for the height and everything. So it's a lot of fun. We did Lord Portman's sister's wedding, which was done at Home House, which was fantastic because they had a marquee in the garden and they had about 15 tables, which was great because you had candelabras and you also had big storm shades and because her husband was from Greece, they wanted to bring in a foreign look as well. A lot of people don't have such a big budget to have such a lavish sort of wedding, and yet they still want it to look fantastic, which you can do that with flowers and candles. You know, it's also the container you have. You can twist grass around it and just have the flowers flowing on one side, which could just be a bowl of tulips. Our Flower Designs is well known for doing large banqueting, whereas we can take a long oval table from one end to the other end for a wedding and just have it filled with flowers, which can be either small little vases or big dish bowls with just roses from one end to the other end, filled with candles. I mean, that is just so stunning when you see that. We also do huge flower displays, which are just so beautiful for the churches as well as as you enter into the hotel and even on the tables, you know, where you can have the display right at the top and just depending on the container and vase that you use as well. We don't just work in the London area, we do work outside London as well. So if there was somebody in Yorkshire who wanted us to do their wedding, fantastic. You know, we'd certainly communicate on telephone and we'd probably go over to have a look at the venue and then give them the advice that they needed. One of the most exciting things that we've started this year is that we have a school. And the wonderful thing about the school is that I don't teach you to be a florist, but I teach you to have fun with flowers. I love my job. I've never known anything so peaceful and creative and fun. This particular bowl has two colors to it. If you turn it round, it varies down a bit. There are several things you can do. One, you can cut the roses and you can get heads of roses floating so that at the side here you see the stems of the roses and then you'll see the heads. You can also add floating candles to it. It's fantastic. What we tend to do an awful lot with is that we get a lot of flowers, particularly these arums, which we put to an angle of the bowl, and it just stays like that. Now, if you pull one of the edges of this in the front, it allows that to bend even more. So you'll find, once doing that, it droops even more. And you add the water to the bowl, and the water should be very, very cold. You twist the arum inside the bowl, so that the arum starts to create a look. Can you see what I mean? So you have a style. If it bends off, it can bend in. Can you see how easy it just folds in? And then you just design. There. Very simple.
Rosemary is such a lovely lady with a true passion for flowers, and with celebrity clients including Elton John, Pierce Brosnan and Jerry Hall, to name but a few. She is simply world class. Well, that's it for the best of wedding breakfast, cakes and flowers. Make sure you tune in again soon for some more top ideas and inspiration. Cakes, suits, flowers and so much more. Bye-bye.